Once upon a time in the small town of Riverville lived a girl named Lily. At just 9 years old, she had a curious mind like no other. Her room resembled a mini workshop, with gears, wires, and blueprints scattered everywhere. Lily loved to take things apart and put them back together, but not in the same old way. Instead, she created new and exciting inventions by using her imagination. One sunny afternoon, Lily sat on her bed surrounded by her collection of odd gadgets. She had just finished turning an old clock into a tiny robotic dog. It wagged its metallic tail and made funny beeping noises. Her best friend, a confident yellow canary named Sunny, chirped in admiration. "What will you build next, Lily?" Sunny tweeted, hopping around with excitement. Lily pondered for a moment, tapping her chin with a screwdriver. "Sunny, I think it's time we explored the world. Wouldn't it be amazing to visit places no one has ever been before?" Sunny fluttered up to Lily's shoulder, nodding in agreement. "But how will we get there? We can't fly like me, can you?" Lily grinned, her eyes twinkling with inspiration. "Exactly. We need a way to fly." Without missing a beat, Lily grabbed a pair of roller skates and her wooden kite. She began tinkering, attaching propellers and tiny wheels, sketching new designs until the sun dipped below the horizon. By morning, Lily's invention took shape. She had created the sky skates, a pair of roller skates with wings that would take her soaring high above Riverville. "Are you ready, Sunny?" she asked, her heart racing with excitement. Sunny chirped loudly. "Let's do it, Captain Lily." With a deep breath, Lily put on the sky skates and tightened the straps. She rolled to the top of the gentle hill by her house, feeling both nervous and thrilled. "Here we go," she shouted, pushing off with all her might. The skates whirred to life, and soon Lily and Sunny were gliding through the air, the wind whipping past their faces. They flew over the town, past the river, and into the open sky, laughing and chirping joyfully. As they floated among the clouds, Lily knew that with her curious mind, the amazing adventures had only just begun. Once upon a time, in the cozy town of Meadowville, there lived a little girl named Lily. She had bright blue eyes and a bundle of curly red hair. Lily loved all animals but had a special affection for her cat, Whiskers. Whiskers was no ordinary cat. He was as curious as a detective and often found himself in the most peculiar situations. One sunny afternoon, as the birds chirped melodiously outside, Lily watched Whiskers trying to reach his favorite cozy nook on a high shelf. Time and again, Whiskers would leap, wiggle his tail, and try his hardest to get up, only to land on his paws with a thud. Lily chuckled softly, seeing her beloved cat splay his fluffy toes in frustration. Suddenly, a light bulb seemed to light above her head. "I'll build a pet elevator," exclaimed Lily, twirling around with excitement. With her parents' blessing and a sparkle of ingenuity in her eyes, Lily began to plan her greatest invention yet. Equipped with popsicle sticks, some string, and a basket, Lily drew out her design with crayons in her colorful notebook. Whiskers watched intently, head tilted as if understanding Lily's brilliant plan. With determination, she worked tirelessly all afternoon, measuring and fixing, cutting and tying. Finally, as the golden sun dipped below the horizon, it was time to test the invention. With Whiskers placed gently inside the basket, Lily slowly began to pull the attached string, guiding her furry friend up towards the shelf. "Meow!" exclaimed Whiskers, eyes wide with wonder as he smoothly ascended to his favorite nook. Lily clapped joyfully, her heart brimming with pride. Whiskers purred with contentment, nestled in his once distant nook. With her persistence and love, Lily's pet elevator had turned Whiskers' endless leaps into a swift, gentle ride. From that day on, Whiskers spent hours in his special spot, gazing down like a regal observer of his little kingdom. Lily's invention not only solved a problem but also became the talk of Meadowville. Neighbors stopped by to see the marvelous pet elevator, and soon, people started asking Lily to design more for their pets too. And so, that simple afternoon idea sprouted into adventures, always fueled by love and a dash of creativity. In Meadowville, where dreams could be as small as a cat's leap or as big as a little girl's idea, Lily and Whiskers discovered the joy of turning imagination into reality. Once upon a time, in a colorful little town named Doodleburg, a young artist named Ellie discovered something marvelous. Ellie had a magical notebook that turned her drawings into real-life creations. One sunny afternoon, Ellie decided to sketch a new design for the town's yearly festival. The festival was the most anticipated event, filled with lights, laughter, and celebration, but this year, it needed something special. Ellie grabbed her notebook eagerly, her fingers tingling with excitement as she flipped open to a blank page. She closed her eyes for a moment, envisioning her masterpiece. With a determined nod, she began sketching. Her pencil danced across the page, leaving trails of fireworks, twinkling lights, and grand archways. As she sketched, each detail came to life: a sparkling fountain, radiant lanterns, and playful butterflies fluttering through the air. The town was counting on her sketch to bring in a new energy, and Ellie felt a bubble of pressure, but it transformed into creativity and joy. She imagined children giggling as they chased the butterflies, couples dancing under the lantern-lit sky. She didn't leave out a single detail, adding smiling faces and vibrant flowers. Finally, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow through the window, Ellie put the finishing touch on her sketch, a giant rainbow. The next day, the townsfolk gathered at the town square, eyes wide with anticipation as Ellie's sketch came to life before them. Gasps of awe turned into cheers and laughter as they stepped into the magical world she had created. Ellie watched from afar, her heart swelling with pride, knowing that her creative vision had brought joy and wonder to all of Doodleburg. And so, the festival became a dazzling memory etched in the hearts of everyone, thanks to Ellie's perfect sketch. Once upon a time, in a cozy little town, there was a young inventor named Lily. Lily had a boundless imagination and a knack for creating extraordinary things from everyday items. One sunny afternoon, Lily had a brilliant idea to build her very own robot. With excitement bubbling inside her, she decided to gather materials from around her house. First, Lily ventured into the attic, a mysterious place filled with wonders from the past. High above her head, she spotted a stack of old cardboard boxes. Perfect, she thought, for the body of her robot. She carefully placed the cardboard under her arm and continued her quest. Next, she explored the dusty garage, where her father stored forgotten treasures. These will be perfect for the robot's joints or maybe its antenna, she mused. With cardboard and string in hand, Lily remembered the toy chest in her room. Gently, she pried the motors out, imagining them powering her new friend's every move. With her materials ready, Lily enthusiastically set up her workspace on the kitchen table. She taped, tied, and tinkered, her tongue poking out in concentration as she pieced together her clever contraption. Hours later, there stood a marvelous robot, a jumble of cardboard, string, and motors, yet in Lily's eyes, a masterpiece. She pressed a button that she'd delicately wired to her creation, and to her delight, the robot came to life, wobbling and whirring in a dance of triumph. Lily grinned widely. Not only had she succeeded in building her robot, but she also discovered the magic of imagination and ingenuity. With just a few simple items, she could bring her dreams to life. And from that day forward, every discarded toy and piece of cardboard held the promise of a new adventure. In the colorful workshop of Tinkertown, a place where imagination soared and dreams took flight, a clever young inventor named Ellie was hard at work. Her goggles sat snugly on her curly hair, and her eyes were full of determination. Ellie had always been fascinated by how things worked, and today she had a special project in mind, building a prototype of her very own elevator. On the workbench in front of her lay various parts, a small platform, pulleys, wheels, and strings. With a deep breath, Ellie began her task. She started by fitting the tiny platform onto the sturdy frame she had made from leftover wood pieces. Then, with delicate hands, she connected the pulley system. Each step required patience and precision, but Ellie knew that every inventor needed practice and persistence. Her loyal dog, Copper, sat nearby, wagging his tail enthusiastically, always her biggest cheerleader. Whenever Ellie made a mistake, Copper would tilt his head, offering his silent support, and Ellie would giggle, patting him on the head. "Okay, Copper," she said aloud. "Let's get this pulley just right." Ellie threaded the strong string through the pulley, pulling it tight to ensure it held the platform evenly. She envisioned her elevator lifting to the heights of her creations, reaching into trees or raising playthings to her treehouse. The sun was shining through the windows, casting playful shadows across her workshop, and the scent of sawdust filled the air. Finally, after much tinkering and adjusting, Ellie wiped her brow. Her prototype was ready for a test. Carefully, she placed a little toy bear onto the platform. Holding her breath, she slowly pulled the string. With a squeak and a slight wobble, the elevator began to rise, climbing higher and higher. Ellie's heart leaped with joy as her invention worked just as she had imagined. Her invention wasn't just a miniature elevator, it was a vessel for her dreams. Hoping one day it could inspire more than just her little workshop. "We did it, Copper!" Ellie cheered, scooping up Copper in excitement. They both celebrated this small yet meaningful triumph in their extraordinary world of ideas. It was a reminder that sometimes big dreams begin with small prototypes, and every tiny invention is a stepping stone to something even greater. Lily was a curious little girl who lived in a tall apartment building. One sunny afternoon, she decided that her fluffy white cat, Whiskers, should have an adventure of his own. So, she gently scooped up Whiskers and headed towards the shiny elevator at the end of the long hallway. Whiskers purred softly, feeling cozy in Lily's arms. "We're going to explore the 7th floor today," Lily announced cheerfully to Whiskers as she pressed the button for the elevator. The doors opened with a gentle swoosh, and Lily carefully stepped inside, placing Whiskers on the smooth, carpeted floor. Then, with a slight skip in her step, she pressed the button marked 7. But then, nothing happened. The elevator didn't move. Confused, Lily scratched her head. She pressed the button again, and again the elevator stayed put. Whiskers looked up at her with his big, curious eyes, as if asking, "What now?" Suddenly, Lily remembered something her mother had told her. "Always make sure the weight is balanced," her mom had said. Lily quickly realized that the elevator must not be moving because Whiskers was too light all by himself on the floor. Thinking quickly, Lily looked around and saw her favorite stuffed toy, Mr. Teddy, peeking out of her bag. She giggled. "You can help, Mr. Teddy." She placed Mr. Teddy on the floor next to Whiskers. The two kept each other company, sitting there with their little button eyes and fuzzy fur. Lily pressed the button for the 7th floor once more. The elevator jolted slightly, then smoothly began its climb upward. "It worked!" Lily exclaimed with joy. When they reached the 7th floor, Lily picked up Whiskers and Mr. Teddy tucked under her arm. Together, they explored the new floor, filled with wonder and delight. Whiskers sniffed around eagerly, while Lily laughed at the funny paintings on the walls and the interesting shapes at each door. It was quite an adventure for both Lily and Whiskers. Lily learned the importance of balancing things out. It had been just a small problem, after all, quickly solved with the help of a trusty old friend, Mr. Teddy. As they made their way back home, Lily promised to always remember this delightful little lesson whenever she and Whiskers went on more adventures. In the kingdom of Gizmoville, there lived a clever young inventor named Tilly. She was known far and wide for her brilliant contraptions and her knack for fixing things. One day, as she wandered through the town square, she stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A group of townsfolk gathered around a large, unfinished invention at the center of the square. It was a clock tower, meant to chime every hour, but it wasn't working. The town clockmaker, Mr. Tickens, wrung his hands in despair. "Oh, Tilly," he sighed, "I've tried everything, but nothing seems to work." Tilly, with her curious eyes twinkling, stepped forward eagerly. "Let me have a look, Mr. Tickens," she chirped. She examined the towering structure, noting the gears, cogs, and pulleys with great interest. After careful consideration, Tilly spotted the problem. "The design needs more balance," she mused to herself. With a determined nod, she adjusted the blueprint, adding counterweights to the larger gears and redesigning the pulley system to make it smoother. "This should do the trick," she whispered confidently. With quick and precise movements, she gathered materials from her trusty toolkit, which was never far from her side. The townsfolk watched with bated breath as Tilly worked her magic. It didn't take long for her to implement the changes she envisioned. At last, Tilly climbed down from the scaffolding, brushing her dusty hands on her overalls. With a deep breath and a hopeful smile, she pulled the lever. The town square filled with the sweet sound of harmonious chimes as the clock tower sprang to life, its gears and bells spinning in perfect time. The townsfolk erupted into cheers, surrounding Tilly with gratitude and praise. Mr. Tickens beamed at her. "You truly have a gift, Tilly. Thank you for bringing our clock tower to life." Tilly, glowing with pride, simply shrugged and said, "It's all about finding the right balance, Mr. Tickens." With that, she waved goodbye and wandered off, eager to find her next challenge. In Gizmoville, mistakes were never permanent, for with Tilly around, everything could be set right again. And somewhere in the distance, the clock tower chimed, a musical testament to one clever inventor's ability to fix any mistake. In the quaint little house of young Lily, there was a peculiar invention created by her genius father, Mr. Tanner. It was the perfect contraption for a little girl who loved her furry companion, Whiskers the cat, dearly. It was called the Cat Elevator, a tiny lift made especially for Whiskers to travel from ground level to all the high places she adored. Whiskers was a beautiful tabby with a proud and adventurous spirit. She loved nothing more than to perch on Lily's bookshelf and gaze down at the room with an air of feline regality. But not long ago, she had an unfortunate tumble trying to leap onto it, which made Lily worry for her dear friend's safety. To solve this predicament, Mr. Tanner, who was both an inventor and a cat lover, decided to craft a little elevator. With buttons labeled in soft pastel colors that Whiskers could paw at, each button corresponded to different heights, the top shelf being Whiskers' favorite. On that rainy afternoon, as the wind whispered through the trees, it was time for the final test. Lily stood beside her father, her heart pounding with excitement as Whiskers paced, eager to try out her new ride. "All right, Whiskers," Lily cooed, pointing to the tiny lift situated by the bookshelf. Whiskers, eyes glinting with curiosity, softly padded over to the mechanical marvel. She tentatively tapped the sky blue button labeled top, a color perfectly chosen for its calming effect. With a gentle hum and a quiet whoosh, the elevator sprang to life. Slowly, steadily, it raised Whiskers toward her beloved perch. Lily watched with wide eyes, clutching her father's hand as Whiskers ascended safely to the top. Finally, reaching the top shelf, Whiskers stepped gracefully out of the lift and settled into her spot amongst the books and trinkets. She gave a satisfied look, almost as if to approve her new mode of transport. Lily clapped her hands with joy, and Mr. Tanner smiled beside her, feeling a surge of pride. "Looks like we've passed the final test, Lily," he said warmly. Whiskers was now able to roam her beloved heights without fear, and Lily's heart danced with glee knowing her friend's adventures would continue safely. In this small victory, Lily learned that sometimes, with just a bit of invention and love, the world can become a safer place for those you care about. Once upon a time, in a bustling little town, there lived a bright young girl named Lily. Lily wasn't your average student. She had a curious mind that could only be matched by her love for creating things. Her room was a treasure trove of screws, gears, and blinking lights, eagerly waiting to be transformed into something wonderful. One sunny morning, Lily bustled into her school with her backpack humming with excitement. Her classmates gathered around, faces filled with wonder, as Lily carefully revealed her latest invention. "Ta-da!" she exclaimed, holding up a curious little contraption with wires and buttons. "I call it the homework helper." The homework helper was a marvelous gizmo. It could read, write, and even do simple sums. All you had to do was feed it a page of your textbook, and it would read back the important parts. Lily demonstrated it by placing a history book on top, and in a robotic yet cheerful voice, the homework helper summarized key facts. Lily's classmates were astounded. They watched wide-eyed as the homework helper skillfully assisted Lily with her assignments. "This is amazing," cried Ben, a budding artist. "I wish I could make something like this." Emboldened by her success and the enthusiasm of her classmates, Lily encouraged them to express their creativity. "If I can do it, so can all of you," she said with a beaming smile. Inspired by Lily's words, her friends decided to create gadgets of their own. Sarah dreamed of building a paintbrush that could mix colors at the touch of a button, while Alex wanted to create a pen that could doodle anything you imagined. The classroom buzzed with excitement, transformed into a hub of imagination and engineering. Over the next few weeks, lunch breaks turned into mini invention workshops. The air was thick with the clatter of keyboards and the sound of giggles as screws rolled off tables. Lily's invention had sparked a wave of playful ingenuity among her classmates, and soon, the entire school was brimming with inventions of every shape and size. The principal even announced an Inventor's Day to showcase their creations. Lily stood proudly with her homework helper at the front of the assembly, surrounded by her friends with their own gadgets. The world felt a bit more magical, and it was all thanks to Lily and her wonderful idea, proving once more that a little creativity and a lot of passion can change the world. Lily was a vibrant 10-year-old with a wild imagination and an insatiable curiosity. Her room was cluttered with toys, books, and little trinkets she had collected over the years. Every corner held a tiny adventure, a spontaneous project, or an incomplete drawing. But tonight, as she lay in her cozy bed beneath the star-speckled ceiling stickers, her mind was far from organizing her chaotic room. She dreamt of her next big invention, a robot that could tidy up everything for her. The idea of creating a robot filled her with excitement. She imagined a small, friendly machine, humming gently as it scooped up her toys and methodically placed them on the shelves. It would move almost like a dancer, graceful and precise. Perhaps it could even chirp her favorite tunes while working, making cleanup time a delightful concert. Lily's mind darted with possibilities. What if it could also help her arrange her books alphabetically or separate her art supplies by color? The more she thought about it, the more her excitement grew. She could almost see it now, a little metallic bunny with long ears twitching with sensors and tiny arms that extended with a whir, efficiently tidying messes. But then, Lily paused with a thoughtful frown. Would she miss the way she personally arranged her plushies in a tent-like fortress every night? or how she sometimes found forgotten treasures in the clutter. Maybe the act of tidying was more than just cleaning. It was part treasure hunting and part thoughtful reflection. As she drifted into a dreamy slumber, she decided that tomorrow she would start small. She would create a tiny helper, maybe an alarm clock that played her favorite morning song, or a pen holder that doodled sketches while she did her homework. Lily realized that every inventor starts with a step, and tonight, her dreams had set the path ahead. Her invention journey was just beginning, and that was infinitely exciting.